and Nick.
Welcome to That Superhero Thing podcast, where we discuss the latest superhero and comic book movies and TV shows. I'm your host, Nick, and joining me, as always, he has been chosen by me to do the podcast. Kinda. There wasn't anybody else. It's Anthony. You alright?
Yeah, that was shit.
That was it was better than just a here's my co-host. Shut up, Anthony. How are you anyway? You alright?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm a bit sad that What If's finished. I can't believe it's finished already.
I feel like it's a bit bittersweet.
Well, you're a bit glad it's over.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I feel like it was time to end it.
Yeah, it needed to wrap up now, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'm a bit sad and stressed, though, that we've got nothing else Disney Marvel Plus for 6 weeks.
I know.
So it's 6 empty weeks.
Yeah.
Where we've got to think of things to put in the podcast.
Don't leave us.
Don't leave us. We won't do it. We've got lots of interesting stuff. What have we got next week?
I don't put me on
Venom.
the spot. Venom next
Got
week.
Venom next week. We've got Halloween special.
Yeah.
We've got, which you guys are voting for as we speak on Twitter. It looks like Blade's going to win. We've got Army of Thieves.
Yeah.
We've got, I'll think of something else in a minute.
Eternals
on the 5th of November.
Yeah.
That's coming. And we've got Ghostbusters. I want to say Ghostbusters as before.
Gosh.
That's going to be cracking as well.
I'm so excited.
Can't wait for that. Before we get into anything though, we know Venom came out last week, but it didn't come out in the UK last week.
No.
So that's why we've not reviewed it yet. It's not out till the 15th of October in the UK, so we will be doing our review next weekend.
Yeah.
We did send Sony multiple emails and ask them to send it to us, and they just blanked us. So yeah, it is what it is. If you want to tweet Sony just as much as you want and tell them to send it to us a few days early, then we can release the podcast.
I love this industry.
It's boss, isn't it? It's boss. It doesn't love us. It doesn't love us at all. Anyway, we have got lots to talk about on this week's show. So we'll be breaking down all the latest comic book movie news. There's loads of news this week, Anthony. Some of the bits we've got huge Daredevil rumours. Loads of Daredevil rumours doing
I've
the
seen
rounds
they've
online.
started making the rounds again.
Loads of, they always are, but there's some really interesting ones this week.
Okay.
We've got an update on Scarlett Johansson's Disney lawsuit.
Yes.
That's sort of resolved. And there's a potential Hollywood strike. That's scary.
Oh,
and then talking of scary stuff, we have got the new trailer for Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Good segue.
Which is not necessarily scary in the right way. We'll then be giving you our full breakdown and review of the What If season finale before discussing your thoughts and theories in this week's Podfans Assemble. This is also your spoiler warning. There will be spoilers and speculation throughout the episode. If you'd like to skip ahead to the Resident Evil trailer review, the What If review, or Podfans Assemble, then we'll put timestamps in the description like we always do. Don't skip ahead. Just listen to the whole thing. Or if you want to, just jump around, start with Podfans Assemble, then go back to the news, then do What If.
Wow.
You
living the rock and roll lifestyle.
You do you. That's what we allow you to do. Do it how you want. News then. So we've had one story wrap up this week with the What If season finale, but we've also had another saga come to an end. So ScarJo versus Mickey Mouse is finally over.
Yeah.
ScarJo won.
Did she win?
She won. She won. Well, I would
Okay.
say she won. Her and Disney have agreed on a settlement after the lawsuit. It's not been confirmed exactly how much she's got, but Deadline's reporting it's over $40 million. I'd say she's won. That's a big win.
The second that you say that they've gone with the settlement, it means that they
Knew they were wrong.
Well, not just knew that they were wrong, but pretty certain that they were probably going to lose a court case.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That most people settle because
they know they're going to lose.
That's going to be the most likely outcome.
That's it, isn't it? Apparently, she's not getting all the money in one lump sum. It's going to be, I don't know how they're going to do it. Like a weekly.
Pennies.
Yeah.
She's just going to get
£1
million in pennies
every other
shipped
day.
to her.
In jars. That's it. That's the settlement. That's what she's going to deal with. Moving forward, to be fair, it does look like they're mates again. Both Scarlett and Disney have said that they look forward to working together in the future, and their Tower of Terror movie is still very much in the works. So It's good news though, isn't it? Because I suppose it kind of leaves the door open for more MCU appearances, whether it's flashbacks. I don't really want them to bring her back back to life, but flashbacks, maybe season 2 What If, although we'll get into it. Lake Bell did a cracking job. in
Yeah,
this
she
week's
did.
episode. A bit more news then. So Umbrella Academy Season 3, we said last week that Netflix's To Dumb event was a little disappointing when it came to Umbrella Academy, but it looks like Netflix have heard us and everybody else moaning that we didn't really get much because they've dropped a couple of promos. Neither of them have got any footage in them. They're all like animated, but they do confirm that the series is going to be coming in 2022. Okay. Which I kind of felt like was obvious. Would have been surprised if it was 2023.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be 2023, but Netflix have a terrible habit of announcing it and then it's here within 2 months.
That's what I was thinking. So I'm thinking if they're giving us dates and stuff now, it's probably going to be early.
But then, to be fair, for all we know, it could be January 2022.
Could be.
If they're just saying 2022, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in November, December next year.
I would imagine it will be in the next 6 months if they're dropping stuff. I know Stranger Things was kind of different, but that was because of COVID.
Well, they
started advertising and then COVID happened.
They did it with, I know it's not comic book, but Tick Tick Boom. Like it's a film that I'm really excited for. It's Andrew Garfield, funnily enough.
Oh, okay. I've seen this.
So it's a musical, and it's the guy who wrote Rent that's doing that. That wrote this as well. And they dropped like one teaser trailer for it about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And then there's a new trailer come out, and then at the end of the trailer, it's like out in November.
That's amazing.
So I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's come around quick.
So fingers crossed, it will be the same here. Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Obviously, we're not having a review. We've said this, and we're not going to spoil anything because there's loads of news this week about Venom: Let There Be Carnage from like after credits.
I've really tried to avoid it.
I've just embraced it now. But anyway, there is a bit of news that we will discuss. Opening weekend box office and the reviews. So it's killing it at the box office. It's expected to do over $110 million in its first week.
Yeah.
So it's smashing it there. Reviews mixed. Some people seem to love it. Some people say it's awful. It seems to be the critics. So on Rotten Tomatoes, for instance, critics rating is 59%, but the audience rating is 85%.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's going down quite well with the fans. I think it just depends on what they're looking for. I think if you're looking for a serious movie, this ain't it.
No.
But if you're just looking for a popcorn movie that's a bit of a laugh, I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it.
When we eventually get it in 17 years.
Yeah.
But I said we will let you know exactly what we think next week. James Gunn has been on Twitter this week, as he does, because he just likes getting involved. James Gunn on Twitter, doesn't he?
Always.
He has dropped some, in my opinion, pretty big pieces of news. So on Saturday, he posted the banner image for Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which we've already seen, with a tweet saying, "In my incredibly subjective and admittedly often odd opinion, we'll be introducing one of the greatest MCU characters of all time." Now, people are going mental over this, saying it's going to be Adam Warlock, it's going to be Nova. I think the fact that he said odd makes me think it's going to be a bit of a joke character. Yeah. And I think a few people are saying Santa. Could be Santa because it's the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I wouldn't get your hopes up for this one. I don't think this is going to be some huge MCU character we've been waiting for years. It's going to be like Groot's Nan or something. It's going to be something proper random.
Groot's Nan.
Which would be amazing, but it's not going to be. It's not. I don't think it's going to be anybody
she does
massive.
weaving instead of knitting?
Yeah, amazing. I like it. Then on Sunday, he took to Twitter again, and in the middle of a conversation, he tweeted, "Yes, I'm developing another DC project besides Peacemaker," which is good because Suicide Squad was amazing.
Yeah.
Peacemaker, we'll talk about that in a bit. That looks fantastic. He has said in the past that he'd like to work with Margot Robbie again, so it could be another Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah.
But apparently, I read, according to comicbookmovie.com, Warner Brothers had originally wanted Gunn to take on a Superman movie, so there's a possibility that could be it.
Yeah.
I suppose. What would you think of a Man of Steel sequel done by James Gunn? Do you think it'd fit?
I don't know.
His tone?
James Gunn's style is very polar opposite to the Superman
Snyder.
as we've ever known him.
Yeah.
No matter what director has taken hold of Superman, James Gunn's approach is totally different.
It's still, I suppose if you compare it to Snyder, which is obviously where Man of Steel is and basically every Superman in the DCU, he's still got a very dark tone. Yeah. But it's very different at the same time. But I kind of want to see it.
I could imagine a Batman done by James Gunn.
With all the villains. Yeah, I get that.
I could imagine, he could do, is it Injustice or something like that? He could be doing something along those lines and playing with the villains again. That would be something that I would find quite cool. Yeah. I love the Batman villains. Batman's always been my favourite out of the DC because of the villains. So something like that, I'd be.
I just think like James Gunn doing Joker and Penguin.
I know. Could you imagine?
And
the Riddler.
Good. And the Riddler as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just think, like the outlandishness of all of those types of characters, he would just have an absolute field day with them. Poison Ivy, like Freeze, like anyone.
Mr. Freeze done by James Gunn.
Can you imagine?
That would be so good. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen though.
No,
I'd love to see it.
I don't think it will. But like, if we found out that the project was something like that, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Even if it was just called Arkham Asylum or something like that, and it was about them all being incarcerated and escaping or something like that.
Yeah. Well, we've got, again, decent segue like this. We're doing well here this week, aren't we? We've got DC Fandom coming next week.
Okay.
So maybe we'll get a bit more news. There's going to be big reveals on that. So that's next Saturday, October 16th. I'm proper looking forward to that. They released a couple of promos this week. One of them was just a list of all the people who are going to be in it, or presenting things, basically all the DC stars. And then yesterday, I think they released a promo with loads of snippets of footage, basically from loads of upcoming projects. So we saw a little new bit of footage from the Batman.
Okay.
We saw our first look at Black Adam. Don't think we've seen any footage from the set yet. It was literally just the Rock's head. That was it, basically. It was like 2 frames of the Rock's head. And then we saw a few shots of Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad game, which is going to be amazing because it's from the same people who made the Arkham games.
Oh, okay.
So that should be good.
I love the Arkham games.
It also confirms at the end of the promo that we are definitely getting the new trailer for the Batman.
Fab.
So it's going to be a lot to talk about next week.
Please text me because I'll be on stage.
You will be on stage?
I will.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to watch it because we will, and next week's episode, because it's going to be released on Sunday, as well as Venom, we will be doing a full breakdown of DC Fandom. So Anthony is going to I'll watch it live, and he's going to be up all night.
Gotcha.
Watching it. On the subject of DC and Warner Brothers, though, Warner Brothers have released as well a few bits of footage from a HBO Max Europe launch event, because HBO Max is out in Europe, not in the UK. It's going to be a few years before we get it in the UK because of the deal with Sky. But they released a few teasers, or bits of footage anyway. So they released a Game of Thrones House of the Dragon teaser trailer.
Oh, okay.
With Matt Smith. Meh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I loved Game of Thrones.
How does Matt Smith look? Blonde?
It's like Matt Smith with a blonde wig, basically. There's nothing special.
It sounds like it just doesn't fit.
It doesn't really.
No, doesn't it? Okay, I thought
just picture Matt Smith, and then put like a blonde wig on him. That's exactly what it looks like. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's nothing special. But I don't even know what the question is. What does he look like with a blonde wig? It look like
blonde
with a blonde wig. Anyway, I mean, it looks all right, but I'm just not excited because of Game of Thrones and how not great the ending was. I loved Game of Thrones, and
I loved Game of Thrones, and then it did.
I've just lost all trust in it. I'll watch it, but I'm not particularly excited about it. We'll give it a go though. They also released not a trailer, but a pretty decent clip of Peacemaker.
Yeah,
the new Peacemaker series, hilarious. Didn't expect anything but cannot wait. So the clip, he's got this team, hasn't he, who like looking after him and helping him on missions, and they're all eating in a diner, and then he shows up to meet them in full costume with his car, which is Stars and Stripes, and his pet bald eagle in the back of the car. And the whole clip is basically them just taking the piss out of the fact that he's wearing his costume. He's like, it's not a costume, it's a uniform. His car and his pet eagle, who, when they find out that the pet eagle's name is Eagly, just rip into pieces. which is fair, but that's it basically. So bit of Marvel news, because we haven't had much Marvel news yet this week. So let's talk about these Daredevil rumours. So there's lots of rumours going around, mainly on Twitter, of another upcoming appearance for Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock in the MCU. So we've had rumours for a while, obviously, about him showing up in No Way Home, but I would expect if he does, it's probably going to be a cameo. But now Scooper Daniel RPK, who we all know, a few bits of news from him this week, he's claiming that Daredevil is going to be in the new Echo TV series on Disney Plus, and he reckons it won't just be a cameo. He's going to appear in at least 6 episodes of the show.
Oh, okay.
So he's put a quote on there and it says, "This is still very much Echo's show, but it's going to feel very much like Daredevil season 4, because we'll get to see all these characters from that show coming back and playing big parts in it. The characters will be somewhat soft rebooted into the MCU, but will still have a history with one another, so they'll look somewhat different with different backgrounds, but still be played by the same actors."
Okay.
So soft rebooting from Daredevil season 3. I haven't watched season 3, but I got a bit bored after season 2. It was a bit too dark.
Oh, okay.
Not that I like dark series and stuff like that, but it was just a bit heavy for me. But yeah, that's cracking news.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I believe it yet. Apparently Echo's not even been officially confirmed yet. We're all talking about this Echo series and what's going to happen.
Everyone's just run with it, haven't they?
Everyone's just running with it, yeah, because she's appeared for half a second in the Hawkeye trailer. I mean, it all makes sense though, because in the comics, Echo, which I didn't know, is Kingpin's adoptive daughter. And obviously there's rumours of Vincent D'Onofrio coming back as Kingpin in Hawkeye, so it does make sense that it linked together. I think it's a really good thing though, because it's bringing more ground level Avengers into the mix. Because so far in season 4, apart from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, every Avenger or character that we've met is pretty much like god level, super mega powered beings, and having more of a mix of ground level, like I said, characters. It can only help, because we need to have a bit of a better mix of it. Wandavision spin-off news.
I've heard about this.
Have you heard about this? So Variety is reporting that Marvel are developing an Agatha Harkness spin-off for Disney Plus.
And apparently this was something that was always planned.
I didn't know that. Didn't read that.
Apparently it was something that's always been planned.
To give her own show.
And
then the fact that she's done so well and she was like the standout character from Wandavision. Well, apparently Jack Schaefer, who was the head writer on Wandavision, she's going to be back as writer and executive producer. There's no plot details yet, but it's going to be a dark comedy, according to Variety.
Love it.
I'm going to put my hand up here. I am not excited for this one little bit.
Why?
Because I don't think we need an Agatha Harkness TV series. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get why she's brilliant. I love Agatha. I love Agatha. Go back now. I was going to say go back and listen to our WandaVision episode. Don't, because they're not very good. But but I loved Agatha. She's great as a supporting character. Yeah. She doesn't need. Where are we gonna go with a whole series about Agatha? A prequel? We don't need it. I just don't think we need it. I think this is just Disney's money train here going, oh, everybody liked Agatha, let's give her her own show. And I know I'm going to be in the minority here, but I don't feel that we need it. I'll watch it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But I just don't get it. I feel like there's other bigger characters who we have explored already and who we haven't explored already, who could really do with their own show and bring a lot to the MCU. And I don't think we need an Agatha TV series. Sorry.
However, just being a devil's advocate here.
Yeah, go on.
Constantly complaining about the fact that...
Me?
No, do you know, like as a generalisation,
yeah,
the format of villains in the MCU not having a good enough reason for the way they are and stuff. And this could be an explanation of how she's become the way she is, which could then further whatever she does next as a villain in one of the films or one of the series or something like that.
But I don't think it will. I think they're going to do the classic Marvel thing of, oh, there's a villain that everybody loved. Let's turn her into an anti-hero.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, and that's what they'll do. So we're going to lose another good villain because this has just become an anti-hero. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. Anyway, moving swiftly on. I'm waiting for the hate tweets.
You already look so peeved.
I am waiting for the hate tweets. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So, again, according to Daniel RPK, apparently we are getting a trailer for it this year.
Okay.
He said he hears it's going to drop in December, which I think sounds about right because it's out on the 25th of March. So 3 months before.
It would make sense that they might drop it along with Spider-Man coming out.
I see. I think there were a few rumours saying it would be November and it'd drop with Eternals. And then there's a few rumours saying it's going to be December with Spider-Man.
It would make more sense because it seems like it's going to be quite a direct follow-on from Spider-Man.
So do you not think it'd be better to drop it after Spider-Man? Like a week after Christmas Eve, something like that. So that because everyone's going to go and watch Spider-Man within the first couple of days. Everyone will watch Spider-Man before Christmas. So I think they need to drop it. Either we're going to get a teaser that doesn't really give anything away and is just a few shots, or if it's got any sort of story info in it, I think they're going to probably have to drop it after Spider-Man.
Unless part of it is part of the credit scene.
Could be. Can you imagine though? Literally sat down for Spider-Man and it's like Doctor Strange. This is the trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Peter Parker died. And we all sit down and it's like, what? What the shit is this?
Imagine.
So that's why I think like they probably need to release it afterwards. But again, they'll probably just go down the route of doing.
No, I agree, but I do think like an end credit that also kind of starts to advertise.
Oh, you mean like at the end of Cap, where they had the Avengers trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean now. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a really good idea. Yes, I reckon you've nailed that. I reckon that's what they might do. Yeah, good shout out, Anthony.
Thanks.
Really good shout.
I'll do try.
Before we move on to the Resident Evil trailer breakdown, then let's do the last bit of news. So the Hollywood strikes. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't actually.
I've not seen anybody talking about this on Twitter or anything.
And can I
like
just
that.
say, as somebody who's a massive TV and film buff, when that writer strike happened,
yeah,
I'm going to sound very dramatic. It ruined my life.
It did. It
really,
wasn't good.
It really ruined my life.
Here's a bit of trivia before we get into the news. How long ago do you think the writer's strike was?
We are probably talking 12 years ago.
14 years ago.
14.
I thought it was like 5. I don't know why. I just didn't think it was that long ago.
Do you know what's really sad?
What?
Do you know how I know?
Oh God, here we go. What?
Because it was like during the run of like Lost, Heroes.
It killed Heroes?
It killed Heroes off completely.
Heroes.
Desperate Housewives, all of those kind of stuff. And I was obsessed with all of them. Yeah, I know, it's a bit gay, but I'm over it.
I've seen it. All of it.
All of it.
Twice.
But I
haven't really, just once.
But I remember it like affecting all of the shows, and it just... It crippled loads of them. It really did.
And movies as well. It just ruined.
And it was actually after that the turning point started, where the 24 episode arcs ended and the 12 episodes started coming in.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah. So it made a massive impact on the whole sort of movies, TV shows, everything.
Totally.
Well, this one, this week, the members of the International Alliance of Theatre and Stage Employees, so basically camera crew, film crew, makeup artists, props, pretty much everybody who's not the actor or the director or the producer on set, they've all voted to go on strike over demands for fairer working hours and better pay. So 90% of its members turned up to vote, which is extremely high, and 98% of them voted to strike. Which is like unanimous, basically.
Yeah.
No date's been set, but the Alliance, I like calling the Alliance has over 50,000 workers, and it's expected to be the biggest walkout in Hollywood since 1945.
Bloody hell.
So unless they get this fixed, it's going to cause havoc, which is a nightmare because we've literally just had a delay to everything for a year because of COVID. But at the same time, give them fairer working hours.
Yeah.
There was one guy who said he worked 136 days straight as a camera operator. Apparently they don't get lunches, they work all through the day right into the night, and they're not sort of treated in the same way as the stars and the directors, so they want fairer pay and better hours.
Don't blame them.
Give it to them. The amount of money that these studios are making, particularly now, one of the people who they really pointed out was Netflix. Not saying that they treated people particularly badly, but just the amount of money companies like Netflix are making, they need to start dishing out fairer pay.
Yeah.
So do it, Hollywood. Give them fairer pay, give them better working hours. Hopefully we can get this rectified. I'm going to get involved. Hopefully they can get this rectified before it gives us another delay on all our stuff that's already been delayed for a year. Yeah, but again, if we hear anything else, we'll let you know. So going on to something less scary than that, or kind of more scary, Resident Evil, welcome to Raccoon City trailer.
Raccoon City.
That's the comic book one. That's the kids one that they'll do. So trailer got released yesterday. I think it came out.
I think so, yeah.
What did you think? From the bit that you watched, because you turned it off because you didn't enjoy it. That's kind of a clue as to what Anthony thought of it. What did you think? No spoilers.
It was kind of like they hadn't finished, and it was like, hand your homework in last minute.
I kind of got the same feeling.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what you mean, like with the CG and stuff? Yeah, I didn't like the CG.
I was like, are we releasing this on PlayStation 2?
That's it. That's exactly what I thought.
Like that's kind of the feeling that I had for it with the kind of CGI that we've got now for all the games, and the way, you know, you're looking at all of these new games coming out where you can literally see a single blade of grass move.
Yeah.
And then you get this, and it
was the dog. The dog was the worst bit.
Yeah.
The CGI dog was like, it looked
horrendous.
like something off PS2.
Yeah.
Or PS1.
And that's what I mean. It just felt like they were recycling old shit.
See, I thought the trailer up until that point, I quite enjoyed it. I still think it looks like a fun movie. I am looking forward to it. I have been looking forward to it since I found out it was coming about 3 days ago. No, not really. But I've been looking forward to it for a little while.
Yeah.
But when I saw that dog, it took me out of it.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh no, this isn't. No. This is not potentially going to be great. It's what I did like is it's clearly more heavily based around the games, unlike the previous movies, which were nothing like it. So this one is set around the events of the first and second game.
I must admit, because of my age, I had never played the games when the films came out.
Oh, okay.
So I was one of the people that had seen the films before I'd played any of the games.
Oh, right, okay.
So that,
Ugh.
it's weird going the other way round, if that makes sense. Yeah. I love Mila Jovovich anyway. Yeah. I think she's amazing.
Yeah, but they weren't good films, were they?
I mean, when you're 12 and watching them, they're pretty cool.
Really?
I thought so, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember. I mean, I wasn't 12 when I watched it. Like, I think it was probably about, it was probably about 13, 14 when I watched the very first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't into it.
I loved them. I think I've still got the first 4 on DVD.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
You actually like the Resident Evil movies?
I actually really enjoyed them,
Oh, Anthony, you're going to get harassed.
Because, and I remember when Extinction came out, and it was the one from Heroes, funnily enough. We're going back to Heroes again. She was in it.
Claire. Ali Larter.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in it, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Who did she play? Did she play Claire?
I think so. Yeah.
See, the thing I didn't like about those movies was it wasn't really centered around any of the game characters. They were just sort of all treated as supporting characters just so that they could make it still a Resident Evil movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, we need a Resident Evil character in this movie, let's bring her in. And then Ali Larter would do a movie and it'd be like, what is this shit I'm in? I don't want to do another one. So she wouldn't come back for another 2 movies until she really needed the money. So we get another character in. So we get what's-his-face from Prison Break playing Chris Redfield for a movie, and then he realised how bad it was and he didn't need the money that much anymore. He got the CW job on League of whatever they're called, League of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow. Cast looks better in this one, and the characters as well. So you got Claire Redfield, which is Kaya Scodelario, I think her name, you pronounce it. She was in Skins, I think.
Oh, okay.
Girl from Skins. Chris Redfield, Robbie Amell, Albert Wesker is Tom Hopper from Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Jill Valentine is Hannah John Kamen from Man and the Wasp.
Okay, yeah.
She's Ghost. Leon Kennedy, guy called Avan Jogia. William Birkin is Neil McDonough from Desperate Housewives. And then Chief Irons is Donald Logue from Gotham.
Okay.
So it's not like a A-list cast, but it's decent.
It's the faces, you know.
It's got a decent cast. Yeah. You recognise all the actors.
Yeah.
And as I said, it's going for more of a video game type feel.
Yeah.
So the director, Johannes Roberts, he did an interview with IGN and he said he wanted, as well as the story being more faithful to the games, he wanted the tone to be more faithful to it as well. So rather than being like an action movie, which is what the originals were, he's going for more of a horror vibe. Yeah. So I'm sure there will be action in it, but he's making this a horror film rather than like
See,
an action.
that approach I like.
See, I do as well.
Love me horror
That's
films.
what it was.
Yeah.
The first games, I was terrified to play the first couple of Resident Evil games. I remember playing Resident Evil 2 when I was far too young. But I think I played like 5 minutes the first level and I was just like, nope, not playing that. Put it in the fridge. In the freezer like Joey. Put the game in the freezer. Just leave it in there. Don't even want to look at it. However, as we said though, I think it's like they've gone back to the video games too much potentially for the CGI.
Yeah.
It took me out of it. I'm still looking forward to it though. I think it's out November 24th in the US. It's not out till a week later here though. December 3rd. Sony in it. Sony.
Rude.
Tweet Sony. Tell them to give it to us.
Yeah.
Just say, Sony, give it to that Superhero Thing podcast so they can review it on time. Otherwise, we'll have to wait a week later. That's us for the news then. Should we do What If?
Let's
do it. The last What If. Let's do it. Right, so the What If season finale. What if the Watcher broke his oath? Except he didn't really. He just sat on his arse and watched everybody else fight Ultron because he didn't really do much. Me.
He broke his oath because he got involved.
Yeah, but he didn't really do anything.
He collected people.
I suppose.
And brought them into the same.
Yeah, but in the last episode, he went full on superhero, almost beat Ultron, and then in this one he was like, "Nah, I couldn't do it. I'll just let these do it and watch them struggle."
Yeah.
For shits and giggles. It's like, nah, I can't be bothered. I'll step in at the end and take all the glory.
Okay, so as much as I was a little bit disappointed with this episode, I will defend. Yeah. I will defend it in the fact that the only time he fought was when Ultron broke through into his realm.
Yeah, okay.
rather than him going in and having a fight, it was a defense rather than a attack.
That's not really a defense. Okay. That's not really a defense, though, is it?
No,
it's not going to affect me, so I won't step in.
But that's what he's always had to do.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So the only time he's done it was defend for himself.
I still would have liked to see the Watcher.
I would have loved to have seen it.
Fighting with the rest of the team.
But
would have been good.
But I also get why it didn't happen. So to an extent, I do get that.
Okay. I was going to ask you what you thought of it, but not sure.
There are parts of it that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And there are other parts of it that I was just like, oh.
What didn't you enjoy? Let's start with the bad stuff.
Okay, so the pace.
Really? I didn't have too much problem with the pace.
I thought it went too fast.
Okay.
I thought they had the opposite problem this time.
Okay.
And I thought it was just over and done with very quickly. And again, we know that they only get 28-minute episodes and things like that. The other thing that really annoyed me was Gamora.
Yeah. That wound me up.
Clearly, they did have the episode for her because we'd seen it in the adverts anyway.
And we saw the end of pretty much the end of the episode in this.
Yeah, and that annoyed me in itself because it's like, so is that episode either never going to air now, or we're going to watch an episode where we saw where it ended up?
Yeah,
because
I think that's the plan.
And that was just. I mean, to be fair, it was nice to see Tony not dead in one scene.
It was shocking to see. I was waiting for someone.
Well done, you.
I was waiting for someone to just fall on him. Each tree stands on him by accident or something.
Mm. And even the fact that he was in it as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that could have been awesome. Like, how have the what?
My first thought was, has Peter Dinklage recorded an episode of What If, and we're never going to hear it?
I know.
Apparently, we are gonna see it.
Okay.
The rumours are that we're going to see it in season 2, which is great because I want to see the episode. But at the same time, it's like, well,
it's wasted now because we know it's going to that point that we've already seen. So
I mean, I don't think for any. I suppose you would go through the episode and think Tony's going to die, but now you know he doesn't. Maybe they'll just kill him off just for fun. But yeah, it did.
So
it was a bit weird.
That did. I must admit, it point blank annoyed me. Because I just thought if you knew that was coming, you should have just kept the episode in somewhere else.
It was kind of like teasing you. It felt like a bit of a tease. It was like, oh, we've missed this completely, and it looked like a good episode from the bits that we heard. So I take it from the episode, Gamora has killed Thanos.
Yeah.
Destroyed the Infinity Stones with this Infinity Crusher, and then she's taken the gauntlet.
Which I did love, by the way.
That was cool, to be fair. And then she's taken it to E3 to destroy the gauntlet. And I don't know how her and Tony have ended up crossing paths.
No.
I can only assume maybe they were both on Sakaar, so she'd maybe been abandoned to Sakaar somehow by Thanos. But it looks like it could have been a really good episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're potentially not going to see it. I don't get, and I do get it, but I don't agree with it, maybe is the better way of saying it. Why did they cut that episode?
I know, I don't understand.
And I was trying to think, what other episodes could you have cut? You could have cut the Hank Pym one.
Yeah.
Because I know we got a call back to it at the very end because that's where Widow ended up in that reality.
Yeah.
But we didn't really need that.
No.
We could have just had it explain that this is a reality where Widow died. That's all we needed to know.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, and I know they wouldn't get rid of it, we didn't need the zombies episode.
No.
Not for the grand scheme of things.
No.
We could have got away with the zombies all dropping on Ultron and there just being a zombie Wanda, and we didn't need to know anything of that because there were no characters from that, which again I don't really get.
Yeah.
He pulled characters from every episode apart from that one.
Yeah. This is another thing that annoyed me. Wanda was scary in the zombie episode.
Yeah, like ultra powerful.
They turned her into a bit of a comedy thing in this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because as soon as he fought off her power, she was like, huh? But like a really daft, over-the-top cartoony type of response. And I was like, oh.
I didn't read it that way at first, though. I thought when she sort of stopped and looked sad or scared, as it appears to be now.
It was because he looked like Vision.
Yeah, I thought that's where they were going. And I thought we were going to have a bit of a deep moment there. Yeah. And we didn't. No. It was just like... I was waiting for like Wile E. Coyote to hold up a little sign and say yikes or something like that. Yeah. There was nothing. There was nothing there. So again, we didn't need, and I know they had to because we were doing What If. They had to give us that zombie episode. Can you imagine the uproar?
Yeah.
If we hadn't had that, and that'd been the one that's caught.
Yeah.
But I don't think it did. I think it was a bit of a disservice to Gamora because she's a cracking character.
Yeah, definitely.
And to see her beat Thanos would have been great, and I'm sure it will be great when we eventually.
And especially
get
because
there.
she in our timeline she had such an intent to get him back.
Yeah.
And so to see her finally do that would have been a nice moment for fans.
Yes. to see it rather than her getting thrown down the shaft, I was going to say, but it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
She wins instead. It did. I mean, there's a few other questions I've got as well, and I suppose we'll get to them when we go through. We're not going to go through in massive detail again, but we'll just pick out the bits that we want to talk about. But bits that I did like, I loved the opening. Seeing Captain Carter basically doing the Winter Soldier or the start of the Winter Soldier, I thought was really clever.
I thought
that's
really
how
good.
they did it, because they could have thrown her in any moment, I suppose, from the MCU, but also any moment that wasn't in the MCU that we'd seen. But I really liked that, and seeing the comparison and seeing the fact that her and Widow still ended up mates. Just how her
isn't
and
it
Steve
weird
were.
though that she called her Widow instead of Natasha?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anybody call a Widow in the MCU.
That's what I mean. So it really stood out to me when she was going, we're BFFs, Widow. And I was like, ugh.
Oh, no, I like that.
That's not okay. I didn't
like
it. It made me feel uncomfortable.
The thing is, though, I suppose everybody else just calls her Romanoff. I was going to say, no one calls her Nat, do they? Apart from Clint.
Yeah.
I think
Does Steve call her Nat?
Yeah, no, Steve calls her Romanoff.
Okay.
I think they all call her Romanoff. But I said I liked it, and then we also got to see continuations, kind of, from the other episodes that ended on cliffhangers where we were dying to see it, which I like. But I'm also now a bit disappointed because I kind of hoped we'd see better continuations in season 2, but I suppose you didn't need them. So we saw Kurt Russell, we saw Ego, Kurt Russell, his ego, sort of draining Peter, which surprised me because my first thought was, why would he argue? I thought that Peter, who's never been Star-Lord, would probably just go, great, my dad's a god, I'll just run with it. Do you know what I mean? He's gone from that to Ego just draining his power in minutes.
Could it be because Ego had no idea of his...
Oh, celestial ability.
Yeah. Not no idea of celestial ability, but
he must have had it.
He hears the stories because as Star-Lord, he's proved himself over the years to have something.
But he wouldn't be draining his power. He wouldn't have had any power to drain if he didn't have the power.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, he's come to Diana on Earth with an Earthling, so he's just gone, I'll just drain him.
He's just, maybe. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It surprised me, though, as well, that we got Kurt Russell back for those couple of lines.
Yeah.
I thought Kurt Russell's probably filmed a whole other episode here, and that's why they got him back to do a couple of lines for season 1, and it was literally just, I don't know what he said to him, but it was 2 sentences at most, wasn't it? That was it.
They probably just went to him and said, listen, Kurt, we can only afford about 2 hours with you. Yeah. Can you just come and do like 5 lines?
Yeah, that's it. With an iPhone, just recording. Speaking to this, he's got no idea. He doesn't even know he's in What If. No. He's just been told to read this. We also saw Wakanda. So we saw Shuri and Pepper storming the palace, kind of. Again, I'm disappointed we didn't see more of that.
Yeah,
I wanted to see, and we'll never see it. I wanted to see Shuri somehow beating, and Pepper as well, beating Killmonger in some way. Just
being kick-ass.
Exactly, yeah. And then the best one was Thor in Vegas. Hilarious. Absolutely amazing.
Vegas!
We got to see the fact that it tied up, because we said last week it was stupid because we didn't get a continuation of the Thor episode.
Yeah.
This one did, so they kind of fixed it to a degree. But he was so funny. Like I said it a couple of episodes ago, I thought Chris Hemsworth would be the weakest
link.
When
he just started screaming
when he picked him up. It's so good, so good. Let's talk about characters then. So start off. The Guardians of the Multiverse, because that's what they're called. Thor, as I said, Chris Hemsworth absolutely nailed it. I'm surprised how much I like this version of Thor, because we hated him in Thor. We hated not worthy, because he is obviously worthy of lifting me on there, but not nice Thor, or not changed Thor. Yeah. It just shows how much of how sort of different he is, because he didn't grow up with Loki. But I really enjoyed how stupid he was. Yeah. He had all the best lines.
He did.
In the whole episode. Is there a universe of Chinese food? My tummy's getting rumbly. And then the battle cry, Viva Las Vegas! Amazing. So good all the way through. It was funny. I really enjoyed that. Strange Supreme. So he was back in this one. We said this last episode, he's not got like any evil about him. No. And it's probably because he's got good Strange in him as well. Yeah. But it's like we said last week, because he's now realised that he's done wrong.
The error of his ways.
Exactly. Nailed it. He's now full on good. And we'll talk about the ending, but this is another reason why I'm not convinced we're going to see him in No Way Home, because I think if we're going to see him in No Way Home, he'd be as an evil Doctor Strange, and he's not an evil Doctor Strange, is he?
No. So, but then, how many universes are there, the evil versions of Doctor Strange?
Well, yeah, there could be. There could be another evil Doctor Strange, but it won't be this version of evil Doctor Strange, which isn't technically Doctor Strange Supreme, because he wouldn't have had all those other evil, not evil monsters, but all those other monsters in it.
Yeah.
His power level in this was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved all the spells he was doing, like when he put all the protection spells on everybody when he went to fight Ultron. That was great. What are you going to say? Is there a bit that you thought was a good
dragon?
Boss? The dragon. I forgot about the dragon. Oh God, listen, I wish you could see Andy. He's just sitting there, this huge smile on the face, like a kid at Christmas waiting to open his presents. He looks so made up with himself because there's a dragon, and he knows it's the dragon. Dragons and dinosaurs. If you've listened, you'll know. There was a dragon.
Do you know, I once, just as a little side note, I once priced up the Velociraptor costumes, the ones that you get inside.
What?
Safe to say, I cannot afford that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you going to do? Just watch yourself.
Have a language ball on Halloween. Just running down the streets as a Velociraptor. No, they're too big for houses. You can't get them inside.
I just imagine, in Step Brothers, where the dad wants to be a dinosaur and he starts running around as a dinosaur. I've just got images of you doing that with your hands up here like a rawr.
Honestly, I'd be chasing kids down the streets in Halloween.
Amazing.
I'd have the time of my life.
Anyway, moving swiftly.
Sorry.
Strange in this. It surprised me how powerful he was, because he was going up against Ultron with all the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And he didn't obviously beat him, but he didn't get wiped out.
No, he was putting up a bloody good fight.
Exactly, yeah. He's so powerful. And that's why I do hope we'll see him again. But then, at the same time, would he be, too powerful?
Yeah.
Because, Thanos with the Infinity Stones was just, inevitable.
Hey, listen. No matter how powerful he could be, there are still runes.
There are runes.
So...
Yeah. Yeah, but
there's always going to be a way to stop him.
He knows how to use them, doesn't he?
He knows how to use them, but doesn't necessarily means he knows where one is.
No,
if he ends up in the vicinity of it.
Yeah, so fair play.
They're always going to find ways to be defeated, even if they are unbelievably
and we'll
powerful.
Talk about that when we talk about the ending of this as well.
Yeah,
because of how we've complained about how you're going to get characters like Sam going up against characters with Captain Marvel, and I'm dead impressed with what they did, but let's talk about it when we get to the end day. So carrying on with characters then. Killmonger, why did he get invited into the team? He's sketchy language from the get-go.
Red flag straight up.
No, yeah. And the Watchers watched. He's seen it.
I know what you did.
Why would you bring him in?
Come and join us.
It's like literally when he rolls up, he's like, protege of Tony Stark, killer of Tony Stark, backstabber. Do you want to join the team? Here's a drink. Doctor Strange, get him a shot or something like that. It's like, what are you doing? And I know he said it's part of the plan, but again, I don't get that. So we'll get to that in the end. But I don't get. Again, he's a great character, Killmonger. I've just found him a bit annoying in this one. Yeah. Because it was just like, what are you doing? What are you playing at? Do you know what I mean? Surely you've seen whatever you're doing, this is obviously a bigger thing.
There's always with good villains, there's always a level of enticement as an audience member. I think that if you really love a villain, you're kind of pulled into the way they're thinking a little bit. Whereas this one, you just went, mate, you're being a dick.
Yeah,
that's all I could think
about.
And
this is what have we just said about Agatha and the moan about Agatha I've just had. Marvel always take their good villains and turn them into good anti-heroes or, into anti-heroes.
Yeah.
This is the one you need to do it with. You need to, if you're going to have another opportunity to work with Killmonger, which you've got in What If, he's the one that you need to stop from being a bad guy and turn him into a good guy. Yeah. And he's the only one that you won't. He's the only one that you keep turning into a bastard. So figure that out. But he wasn't. He just didn't need to be in the team. No. Great episode. I enjoyed his episode.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be part of this. They didn't pull somebody from the Zombies episode. They didn't need. He wasn't needed in this one. Yeah. T'Challa, Star-Lord T'Challa, I was disappointed with him in this one.
He just wasn't used very much,
was he? He wasn't used. He didn't really have a massive part.
He was thrown across half a planet.
Exactly. I get
no less than twice, I believe.
Probably, yeah.
Where he was like launched.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of good lines in it. And, this is by no way, shape or form me slagging off Chadwick Boseman.
No.
Or the character. He's a great character, and Chadwick's an absolute legend.
I just don't think they wrote it for him very well.
Was this his fourth appearance in the series?
Fourth, yeah.
The other three, he completely stole the show. Even in episodes where he was in it for seconds, he stole the show. And everything he said, every line he had was completely like profound. Everything he said. It had people, every episode had people welling up at every speech that he made. And then in this one, which was his final episode,
I feel
it was just like
almost forgotten.
Meh. Yeah, I forgot he was there.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. No. I mean, I know he stole the Soul Stone in the first part. He was the one who did that. But he didn't... All his lines were all a bit stupid and jokey. And do you know what I mean? There was nothing really big about the character.
And that was what was different about him being Star-Lord.
Exactly.
In the T'Challa episode.
He was very Peter Quill.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was very Peter Quill in this one. Yeah. I mean, I suppose he had a moment at the end when he told Killmonger, he was like, cousin, don't do, you shouldn't be doing that, put the stones back. But he just, I just found him a bit disappointing, particularly because this is it. That was it. That was literally Chadwick's last MCU performance.
Yeah.
And it was just
wasn't the best
letdown,
was it? Yeah.
Bit of a letdown. It's a bit of news though, and I'm tying a bit of news here. A bit of news came out this week that apparently he was supposed to get his own spin-off. So they were going to do an animated spin-off of Star-Lord T'Challa.
Oh really?
But obviously we can't have that now. But that would have been good.
That would have been
based
good.
on his previous appearances in the series. That would have been great. Not so much with this one, but would have been cracking.
And
isn't that a shame?
For something like that, it's a good tester for other characters.
What, the episode?
Just
to get what for a spin-off?
No, not for a spin-off, but like see which characters people tend to like and dislike. So you know which ones would be good to come into the MCU and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
But again, would you have needed that spin-off? It's the same as the Agatha one. You don't. I think the thing with Marvel is we all like, and it's probably why What If hasn't been massively loved by people. We like things connecting. Yeah. And I think that's probably why Black Widow didn't do particularly well, because it was a prequel that didn't lead to anything. Well, and I know First Avenger was.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I know First Avenger was a prequel and Captain Marvel was a prequel, but they led to things and they furthered the story. Black Widow didn't, and I don't think an Agatha prequel will, and I don't think a Star-Lord T'Challa episode, a series, would have necessarily progressed the overall arc.
We are in a very nostalgic era.
Yes, we are.
We are getting so many sequels of shows that were done years ago, or reboots of shows that were done years ago and things like that, and films. And the difference with Marvel is that everything is a continuation.
Yeah.
And it was something that was totally new at the time that they did it, and nobody else has done it successfully since. And that's why people love this so much, because again, we talk about the format and stuff like that. It works.
Yeah.
And so for them not to do that for this, and where you've said that, it doesn't necessarily fit in, like Black Widow, it wasn't really further in the storyline and stuff. They didn't quite do as well, and that is the reason why, because it's not following what the expectation has become for Marvel.
I feel like my expectation when I go into a Marvel movie, as much as I enjoy them, obviously, clearly I'm doing a podcast, but I love the Marvel movies, and it might sound stupid, but the biggest thing I'm looking forward to in every movie is the post-credit scene. Not because the movie's over, but I want that sneak peek at what's going next. I just want to know where the story's going constantly, and that's kind of what I look forward to. What would I say the most? Probably one of the most hyped things that I'm after in it, and how it's going to continue, and Easter eggs, and how it all ties into the overall story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this didn't have it.
No, and this is why, like, again, the difference between Black Widow and then Shang-Chi.
Yes.
Look at how me and you were when we came out of that cinema after Shang-Chi.
So impressed. And it wasn't just because of the end.
No, it wasn't just because of the end. It was just, it felt like a new story, but you
knew it was going to tie into something. You
kind of feel that it's going somewhere.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas with Black Widow, you knew she was going to die.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know whether that had that kind of effect on it. Do you know what I mean?
It probably did, and I think spin-offs, particularly spin-offs like this, like a Star-Lord T'Challa, knowing that it's not going to have an impact because it'd be a spin-off. It's a spin-off of an alternate universe that we know will get wrapped up in season 4, in phase 4. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'd like to have seen it. It's a shame that we're not going to get it, but I don't think it was massively needed either.
No.
A couple more characters we got then. We've got Gamora, who we've already talked about a little bit. Again, she didn't really get to do much.
She didn't get much airtime, did
Massively, no. And again, I think that's partly down to the fact that we didn't really know her. We didn't really know that character. The Infinity Crusher, as we said, was really cool.
To be honest, I can't say, apart from Widow, that any of them got a lot of airtime. Like, I do still feel like it was...
What, in this episode?
Ultimately, an Ultron episode.
Yeah, I do. Captain Carter, we'll move on to Captain Carter then. She got a fair bit.
She was
pretty big. She was good in this. I liked her in her episode.
Yeah.
Kind of. She was good, but in this one, she was like much better. She was not a completely different character, but she was stronger. She was just more enjoyable.
She was just established by this point, wasn't she?
Exactly. A bit more confident with it. She was like, I feel like her reactions were like how anybody watching the show would react. It's like amazed by things that you would be amazed by, and like moments in the show when we were like, she's like that. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when she was going through that the portal the first time, and she's like, blimey, bloody bollocks, like that. It's crazy.
Bouncing off the edges.
Throw a bollocks in there. I like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed her as a character as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably a good time to mention it. And you noticed it particularly with her, but with the rest of the episode as well. The animation in this episode was a proper step up from the early series, particularly the Captain Carter one. Because whatever CG they were using for Captain Carter in this was miles better than the rest of them. And every character, I couldn't fault the animation in this episode.
No, not at all.
One little bit. And I thought...
And with the speed that it went to, because the one thing that I truly loved was that fight.
At the end?
Yeah. That fight as they're trying to get the... And
when they're trying to get the Soul Stone.
The two shields going at him, like one after another and things like that.
Yeah.
When you think of the speed that they've got to go at for it to work... And then the animation off the back of it, like it was so impressive.
We've said it a couple of times in the series. I would imagine choreographing an animated fight would be a lot more difficult than choreographing a live action fight because there's nothing that sort of flows from one thing to the other. This was so good.
I would go as far as saying that fight was flawless.
Yeah, I would. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Everybody got involved. Kind of. They did. Everyone was in it. Some more than others, but they were all involved. There were standout moments from Widow. There were standout moments from Captain Carter. Doctor Strange, particularly.
Yeah.
But it was really good. And I think, as you mentioned, that close-up shot of the Soul Stone where you just saw everybody like trying to grab it. And the focus was just brilliant. On that for like a good 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the opening to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when it's just focused on Baby Groot.
Yeah.
And everyone else is fighting around it. It really reminded of that. But which obviously was a fantastic scene, but I really, really enjoyed that. I thought it was really clever because you expected it just to get picked up after 3 seconds on the floor.
Yeah.
And then it just kept going and going
and
going.
With any animated film,
doing.
that's what would normally happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were just focused on this one bit and you're literally just seeing legs and hands like trying to grab for it or fighting and pushing things back and stuff like that, it was just so clever.
It's clever because it's
a
less
shot that
work
you would
as well
use in live action.
Yeah, but it's less work as well because you're like, what's going on, and you're just having to piece the battle together yourself.
Yeah, especially with not having to deal with faces and facial expressions because you were just essentially getting limbs.
Yeah, but you didn't need it. It told the story. It told the story.
Was brilliant.
So well. So going on. In fact, before we go to the ending, because we mentioned already, last character to talk about is Black Widow. So I know we've already talked about her. Massive part she played in the episode, which is good. I like that. And again,
can we just point out the moment when Carter talks about her? You know, when she said at the very beginning when they go onto her world.
Yeah. And
she's like, how do I know that?
Oh yeah. When she's like, your dad was our father was Ivan, and your dad was Alexei.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
How quickly they bonded. But it didn't feel stupid.
No, it didn't feel stupid at all.
Just the fact that she knew those bits of info about her, and it's like she's not stupid as she Black Widow. She knows who she can trust and who she can't trust, and she just read that perfectly.
Yeah.
And she probably saw Steve in her as well.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed that, yeah. At the same time, she's the only person left on the planet, which we said last week, but it showed a bit more vulnerability to her as well, because she was having to sort of let her in. Yeah. If you get what I mean. But as we said, Lake Bell did the voice, did an absolutely amazing job. It sounded even more like Scarlett Johansson in this. And I think it kind of... The fact that she did steal the show and it was basically about her and Ultron. It was, wasn't it? At the end, it became Widow versus Ultron. Yeah. How much better was this in 10 minutes than the Black Widow movie?
I know.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
That's not good at all, is it? And this didn't even matter. No. You can't even put it down to Black Widow didn't matter because it wasn't going anywhere. No. This didn't. We're probably never going to see that Black Widow ever again. No. We might, if we're going to see any characters in live action, it's going to be Captain Carter and Doctor Strange. We're never going to see that Black Widow again, and it still didn't feel like, it doesn't matter. No. It was a good story, and I really enjoyed it. And that, to be fair, that brings me to what I said, the fact that the defeat of Ultron, even though you've got these super mega powerful characters, you've got Doctor Strange, who we've already said is just like basically a god at this stage. You've got Thor. You've got Gamora, who is mega powerful. Yeah. And the ones who beat Ultron were Captain Carter and Black Widow. Yeah. So Captain Carter, yes, she's a super soldier, but she's not the same level as like Wanda.
It was intelligence over brawn, like it was brains over brawn. Yeah. It was that whole thing, wasn't it?
But it didn't seem stupid.
No, not at all.
It didn't seem, and I know they played it well because they gave us all the start to that battle in the last episode, but it didn't feel like, oh god, they're going to get the weak one to beat him or anything like that. It worked and they nailed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I loved, what was it called? The Infinity Stone Crusher.
Infinity Crusher.
The Infinity Crusher, that was it. And then I liked and disliked at the same time the reason for it not working.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit weak.
I was like, okay, they do say that the stones are unique. They have always said that. However...
Yeah, I know, I get what you mean.
They're essentially the same stones from the same origin, no matter what universe that they're from.
And if there's a slight different composition, surely if it's going to crush it, it's going to crush it. Or it's not going to crush it.
So I was a bit like, I'm not sure about that. But then, I mean, we got Toby Jones back as well, didn't we?
Oh, amazing. Zola. So, I mean, he's a great character anyway. I always like it when he comes back, but he was so funny.
Do you know what? I know this is going to sound really weird. Do you know what feel I got from him this time?
What?
Dr. Robotnik.
A little bit.
And I can't even explain why I got those vibes from him. But like as soon as he was like in Ultron's stomach, and then you saw the scene, I was like, I feel like I'm about to watch a Sonic the Hedgehog fight here.
I get it. I kind of get it.
And I don't. Yeah, it was just so.
He was so good. I just loved how when he's I was going to say entered Ultron, but that sounds dodgy. When he got into Ultron, that sounds just as bad. But when he got it, well, let's run with it. When he'd entered Ultron, he was just so unfazed by it. And it was just like excited. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have a battle here. It was just so cocky and confident. It was like,
what does this button do?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Absolutely nailed it. Yeah. It was. He was just like, no fear of Ultron. It was like, I'm gonna basically obliterate you in 2 seconds. Similar to how Ultron was with Jarvis. When he destroyed Jarvis was panicking, and Ultron was just like dead cocky, like, oh, I can wipe you out in 2 seconds. It was quite good to see it, the shoe on the other foot. He just absolutely took him out. But I was sitting there thinking, what's the plan here? Because surely, and it went down that route.
He will have the same
surely
idea.
He's gonna have this. He's gonna end up with the Infinity Stones. He's gonna have Arnim Zola with the Infinity Stones. It's like, you've not thought this through. You just take him one nutcase and turn him into another nutcase. But I suppose Arnim Zola wouldn't want to. He might want to rule the world, but he's not going to just want to destroy everything. Is he? That's it. Just quickly before we move on to the very end, then going back to what we said about Black Widow, the fact that Black Widow and Captain Carter basically beat Ultron, that has given me a lot more faith in Marvel and Disney's plans moving forward. Yeah. Since we started this podcast, we've not moaned, but expressed our concerns about how they're going to do this. I'm not worried anymore. I'm genuinely not. I can see now how they can have Sam fighting on the same team as Wanda. And we'd said, I think you'd said, that the only way they could do it would be have Sam distracting basically the Ultron bots while Wanda goes and beats Ultron. But it was complete opposite. It was totally. Wanda level being distracting Ultron while Sam level being sneaks in and stabs him in the back, basically.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely spot on.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was perfect. They could have gone down the route of Doctor Strange beating him, but this was a lot more interesting, and it felt like there was a lot more on the line.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not as worried going forward. Right, the very ending then. Not the very ending, but the ending. Yeah. I didn't get it. I still don't get it. I don't get what the Watcher's plan was. Doctor Strange seemed to get onto it straight away when obviously Killmonger's decided, as he does, to stab everybody in the back and take the suit. I don't get it.
So he was saying that the idea is that the stones were never meant to be destroyed, just separated.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what they were in the first place, which is why Thanos had to go searching for them and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the whole idea that this fight wasn't to destroy them. It was to get it back to a balance of some kind.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it, but that's what I took away from it. It was...
Yeah, I kind of get it, yeah.
It was kind of
so
like...
So we always knew we were going to end up with Killmonger versus Arnim Zola forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But it was just... It was more of a... We just needed to get them out of their hands, basically. It wasn't to destroy them, it was just get them away from them long enough that we can...
With an easier option not have been. Now, I assume that the only reason Ultron could jump from all these from reality to reality was because he had the power of all the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Would the best option not have been to, when you've robbed one of the Infinity Stones, give it to the Watcher and get him to jump out of that dimension?
But he couldn't get involved.
But he did get involved.
Yeah, but then he had to step back again.
How did Ultron follow them? Because they were in one realm and they robbed the Soul Stone and jumped into another realm.
GPS.
That's it. That's answered it. Infinity Stones. The Time Stone has got built-in GPS and Apple CarPlay. Doesn't have Android Play. Fair play. I'll let that one go. I'll let that one go then. Right. Before we move on to the post credits, that's the answer. Before we move on to the post credits, then, what do we think, if anything, this means for the future of the main timeline of the MCU? Because it didn't do anything to link to the main MCU.
No, nothing at all. I actually honestly think it's going to stay completely separate.
I do. Are you disappointed in that though?
I'm not, because I do also think it still gives us like an imagination of potentials.
Yeah.
Because the multiverse is opening at the minute. So I feel like it's kind of a teaser.
Yeah.
Because
it's
essentially showing you anything is possible.
Yeah.
And it's just reminding you that there could be somebody that comes through any portal at any moment.
Yes.
That's totally going to essentially just shake shit up.
It's never, as Ross says to Rachel, it's never off the table.
Exactly.
Literally, in any movie in the next however many years, a portal could just randomly open and an alternate version of something could just pop up.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's changed. This is going to sound really stupid now.
Can you imagine a scene with Party Thor and Fat Depressed Thor?
What, just sitting and chilling?
Just, they come face
Playing
to face
Fortnite.
to each other. And Party Thor's like, what the hell happened to you?
That would be epic.
Yeah.
That would be so good.
But I mean, like, it can be that daft, and then it can be something so profound. So it could be another Gamora coming through.
Yeah, it could be.
In front of Star-Lord, and he's like, what? And then she kicks him in the nuts as well.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I think, if anything, it's made me more sort of... I mean, I'm always like really like anal about continuity, which is why I don't like the X-Men movies. But I do like them, but I don't like the lack of continuity in them. But I don't like things that don't fit the continuity, and I think this has made me a lot more accepting of it, because I just go down the route of variants. Now, as I said, it's going to sound stupid. My kids are watching the new Spider-Man cartoon.
Okay.
Spider-Man is an Amazing Friend. It's for like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds.
Okay.
But it's like so different. Miles is in it. Gwen Stacy's in it, and Gwen Stacy's mum's a cop rather than her dad being a cop. It's very, very different.
Okay.
And normally that would have bugged the hell out of me. And now I just look at it and go, variants. They're all variants. Yeah. And it's not, but it's kind of good because it's like, this isn't a different, this is the MCU. Yeah. As stupid as that sounds, things like this are still the MCU. They're just different timelines. Yeah. They're just variants. The Amazing Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s it's canon MCU potentially. It's just a different timeline.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that, but I think you've absolutely nailed that. It is about the fact that anybody could pop up at any time.
Yeah.
Do you think I know we've already touched on it. Do you think after seeing this, the rumours about Captain Carter and Doctor Strange Supreme popping up in Multiverse of Madness are going to happen?
I mean, with the filming and stuff, and the not knowing the reactions at the time, I'm not sure they would have committed to that just yet.
Right, okay.
So, my short answer is no.
See, I don't think they'll be in it, but I don't think of that. I don't think for the same reason. I would think that... I do think Marvel thought this would be a lot bigger hit than it was.
Yeah.
And I think, if anything, Marvel would be sitting there thinking, oh, shit, we're going to have to cut Hayley Atwell from Multiverse of Madness because people do not like What If.
Do you know what, though? I wouldn't feel let down if she was in it.
No, I wouldn't. I'd love to see it.
I'd be like, okay, I'm good with this. Like, let's see what happens.
I'm a bit gutted we're not going to get to see Vision Ultron versus Wanda.
Yeah.
Because that can't happen now, can it?
No.
I mean, I suppose he could be an alternate from another universe, but
yeah,
it's unlikely. Before we wrap up then and go on to Podfans Assemble, post-credit scene. There was a post-credit scene.
Yes, there was.
We saw that. I've already said this once this episode. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. So, they found on the Lemurian star is the Hydra Buster. Hydra Buster? Is a Hydra Buster, isn't it? Yeah. And Widow says, there's something inside, or there's someone inside.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it just be a skeleton? She's going to open it, it's just going to be a skeleton of Steve. A really little one. Do you know what I mean? Or at least a very, very old Steve.
I mean, yeah, but then he was in ice and in the main storyline, so he didn't get older and he didn't...
So he's gone into ice again in this? Yeah, I suppose, yeah. There's always the potential that the Hydra Buster could have ended up carrying on missions and gone into ice.
Him going into ice could be a fixed point.
Could be. Yeah, didn't even think of that. My thoughts were, it's going to be an old or dead Steve. That's it. Well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah.
She looks dead happy and then she's going to open it up and just find...
I mean, it could be an old Steve.
It could be.
Because it could be the idea that they keep passing each other. Because it happened in our storyline, but the other way around.
Yeah,
she
but
was old.
But they ended up together.
I know they ended up together. I think they travelled back in time because of the Infinity Stone.
They did, yeah. They did.
They haven't got that far in this one yet. That could happen.
I think it definitely says that we're going to get Captain Carter in season 2.
Yeah.
Got to. We need that's got to be teasing a continuation.
Yeah.
Series wise, because we've done a poll for this. Good series. Did you enjoy it?
I think I'd give it like a 6.8.
It's very specific.
Well, I don't feel like I could give it a 7.
One of our listeners has given it a point something, and I thought that was funny, and the fact that you've just done it and you didn't even know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Amazing.
So I don't think I can quite give it a 7, but I wouldn't have said it was a 6.
Where would you put it amongst the other MCU shows? You can say it.
Probably just below the middle.
Really?
Yeah.
Of the other MCU shows?
Yeah, because there's still some MCU shows. Oh, the shows. I thought you were talking about like
no,
all
not the movies.
No.
Oh no, like Thor. It's much better than Thor.
Sorry, bottom.
Yeah,
it would be at the bottom.
Yeah, I think that they can learn a lot from it though for season 2.
Yeah,
I think season 2. I think they've thought. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
some episodes were great. Some episodes were not good at all.
Yeah,
but I think Marvel had a lot of confidence in this. And they thought that people would be a lot more accepting of things that they did, and they weren't. So I think for season 2...
I think they've realised they've got to work a bit harder.
Yeah, I think that season 2 will probably come a lot quicker than we think.
Yeah. And
I think, if anything, season 2 will probably link to the wider MCU.
Yeah.
And I think they'll put more prominent links in every episode.
Yeah.
To the next thing, because I think that's what bugged people.
Yeah.
And I know people will know now that season 2 isn't going to be an anthology series. It's going to be there's going to be an overarching story, but yeah, I think Marvel need to learn from this. I think they can do animated. I think the animation style towards the end was great.
Yeah.
But I think Marvel need to use this as something to learn from and do better.
Yeah, definitely.
Do better from it. Should we see what the listeners thought?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Pod Fans Assemble.
Okay, so we decided that we didn't want anyone sitting on the fence on our first poll, so we literally just said, was this the best series ever or the worst series ever? 63% said best series ever.
Okay.
37% said worst series ever.
That surprises me. It was very 50-50 the poll for a while, but I didn't see the end of it until today. Yeah.
And then we asked specifically, what did you think of the What If finale? 82% said loved it.
Amazing.
18% it was okay.
Yeah.
0% said they hated it.
Finally. I didn't think we'd ever get there.
No,
and I didn't think this would be the one that would get there either. I thought if last week's episode got some hate, this one was certainly going to get hate.
Yeah.
Because maybe I think last week's episode was better still. But yeah, I didn't think that would be the way.
No,
I think that would be the way to go.
So James on Facebook said, surprisingly good. It definitely gave us more questions than answers. Does the Watcher play a future? Are we going to see more multiverse versions crossing the barrier? Are we going to see more villains that were killed off come back, besides Spider villains, obviously?
I think we'll see the Watcher in live action at the end of No Way Home.
I would love to see the Watcher in live action.
Yeah, I think you nailed it before saying it'll be the Multiverse of Madness trailer will be the post-credit scene or something into it. I think that would be absolutely spot on. Just imagine seeing Jeffrey Wright with his big head.
So, Mark Dave Moore VGC said, where's Dormammu, Shuma-Gorath, Eternity and Infinity? Also seeing Ultron eat Galacticus would have been fun.
Yes, that would have been good. I think we got not a teaser of Galacticus, but last episode where we saw giant Ultron eating the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be... Imagine seeing that in live action, but it's Galactus.
That would be impressive.
That's going to be good.
Third World Nerd said, there's a lot of treats, but personally I need more of Captain Carter Black Widow team up.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Considering I thought that was probably the weakest episode, Captain Carter.
We said about the female thing. Can you imagine, because obviously it felt forced in Endgame.
Yes.
Can you imagine if we had a Captain Carter Black Widow, and with the multiverses crossing over, they grabbed Shuri and Pepper from Thingy, and then they had an all-female team.
Yeah.
That's where that would work. Do
you know what?
Without it being forced.
I didn't even notice, and maybe that's a bad thing or a good thing. I didn't even notice that this was won by the female Avengers. No, didn't even cross my mind because it was done well.
And it's not even that.
Forced.
It's just, and I think this is where not necessarily problems lie, but again, I just thought of it as it's the good guys when it's the Avengers.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? And putting it down to a gender or a race or anything like that, I like the fact that it's impartial completely.
Yeah.
It didn't make it feel like it was trying to do girl power or playing any cards or things like that. It was just the good guys are winning.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
didn't
what
have Beyonce who runs the world playing over the end. Don't do that, Marvel.
No. Thomas Carter Rochester said, thoroughly enjoyed the season finale. The collection of all the characters we've seen was great. Their interactions and callbacks were perfect, and the action was otherworldly. The animation proves its greatness in energy blasts, all the Kirby dots.
Yeah. The animation, I said this, was amazing.
And there's a gif of Party Thor screaming, yes.
Yes, I like it.
Janine, want the Gamora ep.
Yeah.
I mean, straight to the point, love it.
But that's
Agree.
it. Yeah. So disappointing that we didn't get that.
And then Robin, okay. Great finale with some awesome fights and potential connections to the future of the MCU. But one of my biggest gripes with this episode and the show as a whole is that it all felt rushed. And as much as I loved the show, that kind of ruined it for me. And that's what I thought. That it just felt, the fights, as much as I loved that big fight at the end, it all just felt very rushed.
Yeah, I know. I think that's because we didn't get any overall story build in any of the episodes. No. They tried to... It didn't work the way that they did it.
Wes Saga said, incredible, epic. I'm hoping they follow up on some of these characters. Also, what does it mean for the MCU proper, if anything at all? And does the TVA exist in What If? Did Ultron destroy them too?
I didn't even think of that.
No, I didn't think of that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, but the TVA. Well, I was going to say the TVA. There's just one TVA to all the multiverses, but we know there isn't because of the end of Loki.
No. Yeah.
Oh, good question. Like that.
So Elijah just said episode 4 better, and he said for season 2 they definitely are going to need to cover more darker storylines. Those are my favourites.
They did a few dark ones, but yeah, I like the dark episodes were good in this.
Yeah,
the Strange episode was amazing.
Yeah, So good. Maury said Spider-Man got scammed, man.
He did. Where was Why? I really thought they were going to end up with the Spider-Man from the zombie episode.
Yeah.
Why was there nobody from the zombie episode?
I don't know.
Apart from Wanda.
I don't know.
Wanda Coyote with a yikes board.
Bill Dunn Jr. said, honestly, we knew this was built into this. What If was always a sandbox in the comics to explore heroes and lore. It was an exciting payoff and it brings room for a lot more, but also expanding characters later. Also, it looked like they changed up the Captain Carter model.
Yeah, I think my animation style.
Yeah.
He means definitely looked so much better.
Yeah.
Looked miles better in this one.
Artina said it was a good episode, but I was waiting for a twist or ending which revealed a lot more lore or impact of the main MCU.
Yeah.
Also, the whole series left me confused on what's the role of Kang, the Timekeeper, and the Watcher.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're saying that the multiverse is centered around Kang trying to defeat himself all the way through and take control of everything. So,
and in all the multiverses that we've seen,
and we haven't
we've not seen a single Kang.
No. Or have we? Have we and we don't know? I'd like that. So. I'd love that.
Who?
I'd love if we found out that
Black Widow was Kang. Gamora. Gamora was Kang. Killmonger is Kang.
Or Tony. That's why he keeps dying.
Yeah.
JJ Lee said it was an amazing ending. I couldn't think of anything bad about it. I loved how they answered all the open endings with short scenes. Hope to see the Gamora episode in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, what are we watching tonight? Said, I thought it was okay. Questionable Guardian choices, Gamora and Killmonger. Why not get another Clint Barnes? Suppose they had plot points, though. Also felt very Dragon Ball Z, lots of big energy balls and explosions.
I like that, yeah. But Gamora didn't have a plot point.
No, she didn't.
Didn't need her.
I thought the series was good, but could have been better.
Yeah.
Jack Dawes just said, best What If episode so far.
Fair play. I think it's up there for me, but I don't think I'd say it was the best.
Yeah.
But again, it's your opinion.
Rachel Miller said, I was very happy with the final episode. Loved the way he appeared saying, you have been chosen. Especially Thor not listening and Thor scream when he picked him up. It was so good.
The scream.
It was fun, exciting, and the pointers that it introduces us to the concept of the multiverse. Seeing different heroes fighting together, but not from the backgrounds we know. Multiverse can be a difficult topic to wrap your head around, and I think this is one of the points of What If, to introduce the concept, plus potential links for the future storyline too, maybe. I think it's so much better if you look at it like that.
That is an excellent point. Because if you just go straight into to No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness and throw all this multiverse stuff in, and we're not...
Because let's be honest, most people have come into this and then gone, but that's not my MCU. Yeah. But that's the point.
Yeah. But we're not going to go into No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness now, trying to wrap our heads around the multiverse or what's happening.
No.
This is it.
Because we've gone, okay, we just need to be open to anything.
Exactly. That's an excellent point. And like you just said, it's a much better, it's a happier way of looking at the series as an intro. Yeah, I like that.
Nathan said, amazing, loved every minute of it. Only critique would be wanting Spider-Man in the team rather than Gamora, as she never had a standalone episode. Mm-hmm. Need to go to work now, but we'll definitely have a second watch later on to take it all in. Love it. Paul Sears said, overall really enjoyed the series. The finale was much better than I was expecting. The multiverse brings so many different stories to the MCU. It could become a bit confusing, but I'm so excited for it and looking forward to Phase 4 and Season 2. Sheldon Pink said, my heart screams for more Captain Carter and Star-Lord T'Challa. All stories were tied up nicely with those little snippets, but left room for more with those two characters. I'm so here for that. So many great sequences. Ultimate nerdgasm.
Amazing.
Clifford Fort said, I couldn't get over the inconsistencies of the MCU's celestial rules during episode 8, but the characters' moments alone made me forget all about them. I'm glad Strange Supreme got the redemption win. Hello said, dull as dishwater. The series has been all over the place, and despite the hype, it's a flat addition to the MCU.
I get it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I get the view of it being a bit bland.
Yeah. Erican said, I really, really liked the episode. The action was an A+. The voice acting, the animation, even the pacing I thought was great. My only complaint is the way they beat Ultron. I thought that was kind of bad, but everything else I loved. I would personally give this season of What If a 5.7 out of 10. And I know how I said that
been talking.
No. I know how I said that I loved this finale, but the whole season was very mid in my opinion. Really hope they fix some of the issues of the show in season 2.
I think they will.
And then Aislinn said, why Gamora?
Perfect. And I don't know what they mean. It works. It works on so many.
Why is Gamora?
It works in so many ways. Exactly why Gamora, why we go Gamora. But yeah, perfect. I just had to include that one because
I might have to make a bit of a TikTok with that and just say when you watch the final episode of What If, why is Gamora? Keeper of the Sacred Flame said MCU should leave interconnected TV shows to the DCU.
Oof, burn.
That got dark quick, didn't it?
It did get dark quick.
Kenneth said, I was not wowed by this final. Liked elements of it, for example, the Captain Carter and Natasha interactions. That was really cool. But as I feared, Ultron was defeated in what was seemingly with ease. And for this to be Chadwick's last MCU performance, it seemed so underwhelming to me. Yeah, agree. I hope for the most part that Season 2 focuses on Cap Carter much more, along with Uatu interfering more and more, and to see the consequences of those actions ripple across the Marvel multiverse. Geeky Nate said, got to say, I didn't like the last episode as much as the Ultron and Party Thor episodes. I agree with Kenneth. It was a bit of an easy win. It feels like its purpose was to establish the true strength of Strange. Oh, that was a bit of a tongue twister. And
Got it though, well done.
Thanks. And I'm left thinking he's not a villain yet, but I reckon he will become one by not being able to control the beasts he's absorbed and maybe the true MOM villain.
Ooh.
I quite like that idea,
yeah,
because
like that.
he has kept struggling and it's been quite a poignant thing, hasn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
My other concern is that here on out, any What If season needs a multiversal threat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll go down the Kang route.
No.
And I don't want them to waste a good villain.
No. Season 2, I reckon, is Marvel Zombies spreading to the multiverse to feed, and then we'll get the Watcher on trial for breaking the oath, possibly in a Fantastic Four film.
Ooh.
Anyway, final What If was going to be a What If Ultron 1. Yeah, okay. That's what I've got covered. Question for the podcast. What if the other half was snapped in Infinity War?
Ooh.
I like that.
I didn't even know I had this. I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed that. Okay. I didn't know this was coming. What if the other half was snapped?
So the ones that went stayed, and the ones that stayed went.
So what team would we have? We'd have Spidey. We'd have Doctor Strange and Wanda.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. Genuinely would be. It would be.
Probably.
It probably wouldn't be as entertaining because we'd have Strange and Wanda. And would we have Wong as well? I assume. I think Wong got snapped.
We'd have Wong. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be a piece of piss. Yeah. To be honest, I don't think it'd be too much of a challenge. You'd have Drax. He's invisible. Just sneak up on Thanos and rob the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be.
However, on the more scientific side, we'd lose the brains because we wouldn't have Hulk. We wouldn't have Tony.
No, we wouldn't. But we'd have Doctor Strange and Wanda.
It'd have to be a magical approach rather than a scientific approach.
Yeah. I think they'd do it though.
Yeah.
I think they'd do it.
Okay.
Mad like Wanda that. Because she's lost vision.
Yeah.
Look how she did against Thanos.
Can you imagine the fight between Squidward and Wanda?
Yes. That'd be epic.
That would be an epic
to see
fight.
that.
Yeah.
That would be really good. We'll never see it.
No.
Gutted.
And then we actually had a quick comment about the Resident Evil trailer as well from Mischievous Scamp. I'm excited for a reboot of this franchise as they have a decent cast lineup, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, as I said, the trailer didn't sell me, but I was already looking forward to it, and it hasn't put me off, should we say. I'm still looking forward to it. It's just made me a little bit
I'll still watch it, let's be honest.
Yeah, we will. We'll do it on the podcast if you want. Is that us then?
That's everyone.
Right, should we do the wrap up?
Yeah.
Right, so thanks for listening to the show, and don't forget to come back next week for our full review of Venom Let There Be Carnage and our breakdown of DC Fandom, which is all coming in next Sunday's episode, not Friday. We'll also have our Patreon exclusive Into the Podverse episode dropping next week, where we'll be giving you our MCU ranking, seeing where Shang-Chi slots into what, 26 movies, 25 movies? It's too many. There's not. Give us more. More. That will be available next week on our Patreon.
Yeah.
You can find all our episodes at thatsuperherothing.com, along with all of our social media links. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. On the website, you can also sign up for our email newsletter, where you'll receive new episode alerts and news on upcoming shows. And then you can contact us on any of our socials and submit thoughts and theories for next week's Podfans Assemble. If you've enjoyed the show, please do consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. It does really help us out massively, helps us get seen by new people and get new listeners. And subscribe as well. If you're not subscribed and you're just going and checking us out every week, subscribe as well. That helps massively.
Yeah.
And it's easier. You don't have to go looking for us every week.
No.
We just land in your podcast app type
in
thing.
your podcast inbox.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Patrons, you can, if you want to support the show, go to thatsuperherothing.com/Patreon or patreon.com/thatsuperherothing. There are loads of bonus episodes on there. You'll also get access to the Discord server where you can listen in live.
Yeah.
As we've got a few of our patrons listening as we speak.
Yeah.
And then patron shout-outs, we've got Keeper of the Sacred Flame, Stephanie, Geekinate, Kenneth, and Richard. So thank you again,
guys,
massively for supporting the show. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Other than that, though, I think that's it. So what if, over... on to 6 weeks of trying to find other things to talk about. Please carry on listening.
No pressure.
I know, no pressure to be interesting for 6 more weeks with nothing. But as we said, we've got loads to talk about.
Yeah, we have.
We've got loads. That's it from us, though, guys. Speak to you next week.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.